All right, our group has Uber. It's by Nick, myself, Ryan, Tori, Jackson, Amelia. Okay, so the history of Uber. Uber it was actually developed by Travis Kalanick and Garrett Camp. They came up with the idea when they were stuck in Paris in a snowstorm and they couldn't get an Uber, or they couldn't get a taxi in like late December of 2009. They came back to the States. They were originally from San Francisco, and they developed the idea of why can't we just call a taxi right from our phone? So the name Uber is German for superior or supreme, and they chose that because they wanted to offer the supreme service and better services than what you can normally get from like a normal taxi. The original name was actually Uber Cab, and they decided to drop the name Cab because they wanted to differentiate themselves from every other taxi service out there. How did Uber become successful? Uber started off in San Francisco, and they took a hyper-local approach. So they would really focus in on one city at a time before they really got a really good foothold in that city. Then they'd expand out past that. Expansion of Uber. Uber started off in San Francisco, as I said, and they have expanded into 83 different countries. And they started off with a very low number of drivers. Now they've expanded to 3 million drivers with over 775 million customers. The differentiation. So Uber just started off as a taxi service, and now that they've differentiated into Uber Eats, which is like another portion of Uber where you can order food right from your phone, and Uber Eats will deliver it right to your door. Stability of the company. So Uber Eats, they've expanded to 6,000 cities, 23 countries, and over 600,000 restaurants. And they have also, with this, combined with Uber Eats and Uber, their average annual revenue is $11 billion. And Uber has given out 5 billion rides, and this is keep on growing as it keeps on growing. The disabilities in the company as well. Uber Eats actually has been struggling quite a bit. They have a lot of big competitors like DoorDash, Grubhub, and Postmates. So they've actually been really struggling on turning a profit. It was introduced in 2014, and they're just struggling because it was introduced right around the same time as Grubhub and DoorDash.
All right, now we're going to talk about the environmental analysis. There are many environmental forces that currently are affecting Uber. The first one being talked about is the global and international implications. It's very controversial with global markets because some economies Uber does not benefit. It doesn't benefit them because Uber, some countries say that it's taking away from like their local services such as like taxi cabs and things like that. Although some countries say that it is not benefiting them, Uber currently operates in over 85 countries and has completed more than 5 billion rides worldwide. They eventually plan to operate in many more countries because right now they are not in like some high tourist countries and cities because, like I said, that they believe it won't benefit their economy. With the economic force, Uber kind of goes hand in hand with the economy. Like when the economy is booming, Uber is kind of booming, and vice versa. There are many studies going on right now whether Uber is bringing in new careers or taking away from them. Like I said, with the global international implications, Uber is said to be taking away some jobs in parts of the countries. But one thing being said, Uber is growing at an alarming rate, showing that their potential is like no other. Like they have max potential. One thing that hurt Uber was when COVID-19 outbreak hit in the United States. Uber took a hit that they are said to may never recover from, because the economy was in a recession, and with travel bans and tourists not like going to the high capacity cities, Uber was barely operating or making any money at that time, which is they're still trying to recover from that. There are also many competitive forces, such as like regular taxi cabs, Lyft, and there are now many more companies trying to do the same thing. Lyft is slowly expanding, but it's still no match for what Uber has to offer as far as costs and things like that. There are many more smaller transportation companies trying to come out, and out of all the services and companies, Uber remains at the top of the list. Although they are saying these forces could possibly drive Uber out if there are more local companies that begin to come in like this, so hopefully they don't drive Uber out. On the bottom left here, there's a map of Uber's global footprint, kind of just showing where Uber operates and where they have investments around the world. And the bottom right shows that for rides, Uber currently is the cheapest out of like all the cities. That just has some cities, but Uber is the cheapest. So next slide. And we're continuing with the environmental analysis. Technological forces, that is the main reason Uber is up and running. Social media has spread the word of Uber like wildfire. Without social media, Uber would not be where it is today. Uber's mobile app is where most users schedule appointments, look at costs and other information about what Uber has to offer. Through the app, passengers pay for their rides, they select like where their rides are going to go, and etc. If Uber's app had a malfunction or failure, Uber would not be able to function. Everything that they do is literally run through that one app. Another feature that they added to this app was Uber Eats. Like Nick said earlier, it is just the same thing as Uber, but it's for food, so you can order any food to get delivered to a select location. Drivers who are on duty respond to and pick up the passengers. Like they select, like they'll see a passenger put in an order and they'll select if they want to take that. So it's not like the drivers have to necessarily do it, but it's more of a choice. Sociocultural forces. One major sociocultural force is being able to view profiles of their drivers. That makes customers feel more safe and at home. The customer base for Uber is extremely diverse. Any person can use Uber at any time. There are currently not many cultural factors or beliefs that affect people using Uber. Other than that, they simply do not trust getting into a car with an unknown stranger. Like I said, the driver profiles is a major thing that they offer, and that is what sets them apart from like a regular taxi cab, because you don't know who you're getting in a vehicle with. And with Uber being available at all times, people tend to mainly use their services. Next slide.
Okay, so we came up with a few new ideas that Uber could adopt into their marketing plan, but some of the ideas that we thought would work, one being able to choose the gender of your driver. So I think this would definitely like allow your passenger to feel a little bit more comfortable if they had the option of being able to choose whether or not they had a male or female driver. Another thing that could be beneficial is not having 24/7 cameras, but having cameras in general. Not all cameras are enforced in the Uber vehicles, and I think that is, we think that is something that would take safety to a next level and also help your passenger feel safe inside the vehicle. Another idea that we thought that Uber should adopt is performing better background checks on company drivers. They only perform like one background check on their drivers, and multiple background checks going even like further back than just a fingerprint would be more beneficial to their company because their drivers or their passengers would be feel safer in that situation. All right, next slide.
So the current marketing objectives for Uber is they're starting to move toward more eco-friendly vehicles in the sense of they want to start they've started to realize what impacts they have on the economy, or not the economy, sorry, the ecosystem. There it is, the ecosystem, and how that the fumes and of the gasoline and the fossil fuels are starting to cause global warming or have caused us to kind of need to be more self-aware of what we're doing and how much we're driving. And they're also trying to give customers the best customer experience they can give and trying to have a safe and affordable ride for everyone. It doesn't matter your race, gender, they just want a safe and affordable ride to anyone who needs it. And for the performance, as Jackson said, they're beating out competitors. It is getting kind of close with Lyft because as that company grows, the prices of their rides can start to slow down and lower to combat with Uber. But at this stage, they're still beating them. And they basically started the ride sharing market in the sense of they were one of the first companies to do it besides taxi, which is kind of giving them the first dibs on the market. But at the same time, that kind of sets the bar as a double standard for them, because if they don't perform at a level they need to, another company can come and take their place. And ever since starting the market, they have been a leader, but at the same time, they got to make sure to keep watching themselves and make sure they don't start lacking behind. Next slide, please. So their target market right now is their food delivery, Uber Eats, ride sharing, just standard Uber. They have started doing mail and delivery services, so you can ship, so some companies can ship freight through them and they will deliver packages for you. And they're also trying to make it so you can plan business trips better, in the sense of if you have a lot of business hassling to do, they try to simplify their rides to conglomerate with what you are trying to do with your business. And they also have started doing rentals of electric scooters and bikes, which is, those aren't in a lot of places right now, but it's more focused in bigger cities like Florida and California, where it's kind of more touristy attractions and the weather's a little nicer. And so segmentation, they're creating more marketing strategies and ideas. They're coming up with new ideas and products, and they're trying to make it so their rides are more affordable. Next slide. So there's sustainability and ethics. Sustainability is they want all their rides to be 100% zero emission by 2030 in the UK, US, and Canada. And they plan on making all of their rides zero emission by the year 2040. And yeah, their ethical code is very strong. It is more strict than ones I've seen. I did a little research on it, and it's more strict. They have a very strict policy on not discriminating against any driver or passengers. And there are harsh recommendations if that ethical code is broken. Next slide. So the marketing mix, the place they have from producer to consumer in one step. There's not a lot of hoops to jump through. You don't have to wait for stuff to happen. And it's an internationally recognized company, and it is available in 10,000 cities, and that is rapidly growing. So the price of Uber, it starts off as a flat fee. There's a flat like $3 fee for each half mile. And it depends on also how much your trip will cost. It depends on how far the trip is. And with the prices, there are multiple different kinds of rides you can get with Uber. There's Uber X, which is just a standard Uber. There's Uber Comfort, which is more, you try to get SUV is what people are looking for with that. There's Uber Green, and that is more, you're using an eco-friendly zero emissions vehicle, and that's the only vehicle you're allowed to use to be an Uber Green driver. There's also Uber Black, which is their luxury vehicles, and your vehicle has to meet a certain requirement to be a driver for that. But also you're going to pay a lot more for Uber Black than you are Uber X. Next slide, please.
Okay, so I had the second part of the marketing mix. So starting off the product, Uber does not sell a tangible tangible product like most companies. Instead, Uber uses its network of drivers and technology to provide a lot of services to its users. The reliable services run through smartphone apps that provide platforms to connect users to their various services. They also give way to a new level of convenience to a customer. So unlike taxis, Uber provides immediate service at the click of a button. They originally started with their ride sharing, and as Ryan was saying, there's a bunch of different kinds. Uber X, Uber Pool, Uber Comfort are just a few. They also started their food delivery, which is Uber Eats, as we mentioned, and you can have it delivered to a specific location. And in addition, they also have started Uber Freight that matches carriers with shippers, and Uber for Business, built for workers. And then the promotion. So Uber started out with a word of mouth referral process that worked very well for them at first. It just includes having a current customer inform a friend about Uber so that they can both get a free ride. But once Uber became more established, they started using other strategies like promo codes and discounts. Uber wants to satisfy everyone included in their company, so they provided those promotions for drivers and customers. So promotions for drivers included a monetary award for signing up to drive, and promotions for customers include free ride credits for their first ride. Additionally, Uber offers different discounts that appeal to various different customers' needs and wants. And they also provide a newsroom and blog page on their website that provides easy access to relevant news about the company, as well as the activities that they are involved in. Next slide. So shifting to the SWOT analysis, first off is strengths. So first, Uber has established itself as a pioneer and a global market leader. Uber's first mover advantages include being able to capture a vast portion of the rideshare market and have a strong brand identity, which makes it easier for them to reach global markets. A second thing, Uber has significantly low cost compared to competitors due to the fact that they do not own any of the vehicles in their rideshare or food delivery services. They also don't have full-time employees because their drivers are considered contractors, so that keeps their costs even lower. And the convenience and quality of being easy and useful is what makes Uber's services affordable to a range of people. They also have a strategy for pricing that sets them apart, and they also go along with economic principles to say that higher demand equals higher prices. So, for example, like during busy hours of the day or busy hours of the year, their rides will cost more, which motivates drivers to work during these busy times, and also benefits the customers because if more drivers are working, then they don't have to wait as long for a ride. Uber also focuses on customer satisfaction through their rating and customer satisfaction metrics. They've always emphasized the satisfaction of customers, and they emphasize it even more as new competition arises. They also have an adaptive quality that's unique to them. They have the reputation of being able to conform to business conditions very well, and they prove their adaptability in their implementation of all their different all their newer services like Uber Eats and Uber Freight and Uber Bike. So next we go to weaknesses. So first we have their ability to rely on their drivers, consumer data, and the internet. The possibilities of drivers protesting or boycotting could be disastrous for the company, so they have to be able to please their drivers and make sure that they're treating them rightfully. In addition, the increase in customer privacy laws indicates that Uber could have to give up some of their consumer data collection, which will make it difficult for the business to run smoothly. The dependency that Uber has on the internet and smart devices not only makes it impossible to reach potential customers who do not have access to the internet and aren't tech savvy, but it also creates problems when considering growing to the undeveloped nations. They also have substantial losses due to criticism. A lot of people have brought up news articles and stuff like that that say that Uber doesn't treat women well, or that they're a male-dominated company and that women aren't treated fairly by the men. There's also been many scandals and sexual harassment complaints about drivers that have come about and reflect badly on Uber's reputation. So after weaknesses, we have opportunities. Uber has multiple opportunities that they can take advantage of. New technology being probably the most important, like the use of artificial intelligence. If Uber can successfully engineer a self-driving car, it could decrease spending and dependability as well as increase profits. Uber has already done a lot of research and they've invested billions of dollars in the development of self-driving cars. But the challenge is to decrease the risk of accidents and gain the customer's trust about the product. Uber knows that customers are unsatisfied with the unorganized taxi system. They know that customers want convenience at a low price. So to capitalize on this opportunity, they use their rating and review system to keep up with customers' needs and concerns. Another opportunity is using the internet. So obviously the internet is spreading to parts of the world that it's never been before. So Uber can take this opportunity to expand to the new cities and widen their customer base. And they can also expand their modes of transportation. So like we said, Uber Bike, that's something newer that they've been doing. They also recently launched their Uber Chopper, which is their helicopter, in many countries, and they have ideas for a bus service as well. They can also partner with businesses like healthcare businesses or hotels to promote new services like those related to emergencies in the healthcare system, or they have actually recently partnered with Nimble to create prescription delivery services for people. And so now there's a video. Okay, so the last thing in the SWOT analysis is the threats. So the company has risks involved with their internet connection. If the internet goes down or is just slow in a particular area, they could face significant losses. Uber also has had to deal with increasing competition, like we said before, especially from Lyft, and they have to take it seriously so that they can keep their current customers and drivers. They also are known that it's known that drivers have a low profit margin, which makes it difficult for the drivers to stay with the company. If Uber starts losing a large portion of their drivers, their customers will not be satisfied. So drivers have also tried to form trade unions, but they have failed due to the fact that they're considered independent contractors, not employees, like I said before. And Uber has dealt with many lawsuits over issues like their wages and the lack of wheelchair accessible options. The lawsuits create financial setbacks in the company and have the potential to be very harmful. Uber has the responsibility to keep all the information that they collect from their customers safe and prevent misuse and data breaches. This task is becoming progressively hard because many more people are tech savvy, and not only does Uber have the obligation to protect customers, but they also need to make sure that they're following each government's policies regarding privacy in every area of the world they're involved in. And next slide.
Okay. So like Uber, there are multiple other alternatives to taxis and long-established transportation systems that have been around for a while. One of them is Lyft. And Lyft was originally founded by Logan Green and John Zimmer in the year of 2012 in the city of San Francisco, California. Lyft has been operating in hundreds of cities in Canada and in the US for the past 8 years, and while doing so, leaving behind very happy customers. Lyft came out with its official app in 2012, letting their customers know the driver's arrival time and also giving the passenger an estimated cost in advance. Not only does Lyft offer online websites to their customers, but they also offer promotions like ride discounts and Lyft credit. Aside from promotions, their websites also share that company has set minimum vehicle requirements and the drivers must pass at least 2 background checks before approval with the company. One requirement being that automobiles must have 4 doors and 5 seatbelts. However, requirements do vary state to state. Okay, so Lyft offers a variety of ways that can help passengers ensure that they're getting into the correct vehicle. One article states that Lyft originally identified its automobiles as this big pink mustache, so people knew that they're getting into the correct vehicle. And recently they've transitioned over to bumper stickers or logos. But another thing that they use is this device called the amp. And the amp is where there's this little sphere and it lights up on the dashboard and it shines a certain color, and from your Lyft app you get a certain color and your color correlates to whatever vehicle you're supposed to get into. And not only is it safer at night, but it also just ensures that you are getting into the right vehicle instead of risking your safety. Lyft, just like Uber, also got into the food delivery business with their fast food partner Taco Bell. This inspired a new feature on the app called Taco Mode, and it basically is an app that whenever you want to go to Taco Bell, it'll take you to the closest one, and you can order through their Lyft app. But yes, it was called Taco Mode, and customers actually complained about it because of customer dissatisfaction and the messiness in their vehicles. Both companies have been dealing with the same issues with regards to reducing sexual assault incidents, car crashes, and trying to maintain their good guy image. In 2019, Uber released a safety report providing that 6,000 sexual assault cases were filed. Everyone expected Uber to kind of do the same thing, except they never submitted any reports. Some say that Uber was more user-friendly because they shared these reports with their customers. Neither companies condone nor stand for any tolerance of sexual assault, as they both have recently stated. However, neither companies offer you the choice to choose the sex of your driver, which as an option could potentially raise the satisfaction and comfort of your customers. Also, neither companies enforce their drivers to install and use video cameras or dash cams, and that could also increase safety inside vehicles. By raising the need and by enforcing drivers to use cameras, it could help provide an extra safety barrier between drivers and their passengers. And that concludes this Uber presentation.